Sarah Andelman and Lucien Pages. So, for those who just joined us today or just this hour, I can just say a little introduction that the idea of the talk is that as I did a collaboration with ZARA and the collection is titled Let's Talk About Fashion, I offered ZARA team to organize these fashion talks to actually talk and discuss about fashion. And I think with the people who we had selected, Karin Reutfeld, Anna De La Russo, Mel, Jordan, and now Lucien and Sarah, it's completely different areas of fashion and different careers that these people explored and did, and their love of fashion and the way how they express their love is very much different. And I want to start, as I did with my other guests, about my first memories about you and the reason why they are there. So with Sarah, my earlier memory is with Sarah, and obviously you can imagine that the color that you see on my head all the time on my page is 200%, million% inspired by the Colette store, which was probably one of my, the most sad day that I remember was the day when the Colette closed and I could not be in Paris. But I remember when I arrived in Paris, it was January 2014, and I already knew about Colette from internet. And it was honestly the first destination where I went to see, and Sarah was the person, because she was very much present at the store almost all the time to take care of everything. And I remember her looking kind of similar, because it's kind of her uniform, what she wears also today, in a tulle skirt and a sweater or a t-shirt. She was going around with her mother, also present there. And I remember that this is the woman who created the store, which was kind of a church for me and for us, because it was a gathering of people and the place where we would gather and with the people who would have the same emotions and the relationship with the fashion. While with Lucien, I had a different, the memory is bit later, because I knew about his job. I've seen him about the fashion shows before, as when my friend used to take me as a +1 to the fashion show. So I remember you from there. But my first meeting was, I remember, it was Monday evening when Clara Cornet, who works at the fashion team at Instagram, and who I met before Lucien, she told me that, Beka, since you are coming to Paris, the first and only person that you have to meet is Lucien Pages. And I remember we went to Ritz. It was around evening before one of the shows, around 7 p.m. and we had the champagne. And I think that's since that day, Lucien is the person who we almost, I can say, we speak almost daily. Even in between the fashion, there is always something that is happening that I can ask to him. I go to him for an advice, even could be about the brand that he's not working with, but just to ask him a question. And Sarah, I'm super happy and honored, and it was kind of a dream to do something with her. So last year we did a project at Bon Marché, right here, when Sarah did a big takeover of Bon Marché, and I was one of the collaborators. And to add on this dream, I remember I did one of the magnets for the fridge that I did was the saying Colette was my Eiffel, and then Colette account on Instagram that is still active posted this, and I can tell you that that was one of the most emotional moments for me, the fashion moments, because I would never imagine that this would happen. So thank you for believing in me. Thank you for trusting me, for being here today with me. And my first question would be the same as I asked to everyone, all of my guests, was that how much do you love fashion and why?
Je commence. Vous m'entendez ou pas? Oui, c'est bon. Ouais. I think I love fashion too much. All my life is about fashion, like since I'm a child, and I don't know. It's take all my life, all my day. But I don't like fashion like people who like fashion for the clothes or things like that. Because myself, I don't care so much about the clothes. Like I'm amazed to see the creation of designer. I love like to see fashion show, but I'm not like a consumer. Like, you know, there is different way of loving fashion. My way of fashion is like more an approach that you could have with art. Like, I'm amazed by how designer thinks, how they will always propose you new experience, new creation, like what I know you discussed that before, but what the show we saw today with Duran,
yes.
like this is, and my first talk was, this is why I love fashion. I love fashion for those moments where someone show you something that nobody else can show.
Yeah. And what about you?
It's pretty similar. I love fashion, but I love art, I love design, I love food, I love football or basketball. What I love is the people behind this and how they give us emotion, how they surprise us, how they renew what they are doing. So, yes, I love creativity is maybe a word we use a lot, but it's today, but it's still these people who push beyond the limits, and in fashion it's can be extreme, and that's why it's fascinating. We never know what we are going to see. We never know what's going to happen in a fashion show, or how much the influence from a designer with time. But I don't want to limit myself only to fashion, and that's how we sort of collect.
I see. As much as people and I know basically with the years everything that you have done in your career, I don't know what was the first memory of fashion that you have, not necessarily career connected, but first time that you discovered fashion. What was it and who was it?
I discovered fashion on TV, on French TV. There was like the news there is still the news on TV, and at my time there was only 3 channels of TV. Like TF1, France 2, FR3. And at the end of the news, they were showing the collection of Paris, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And I was seeing on TV like Yves Saint Laurent show, Chanel by Karl Lagerfeld, and all those. Voilà. So it was my first memory of fashion. It was through the TV, and those 3 essential minutes that I was waiting to look at, and I was taping them. I still have the tape.
Wow.
So I have like maybe 100 tape of 3 minutes of the end of the news, and I need to put them on like to transform them on like before they are totally destroyed. But they are a testimony of that time.
Yeah.
And that's where I discovered fashion, and I was dreaming about fashion because it was on the TV.
And you?
Before the experience, surprising, Lucien, would you say it was TV before magazines?
Yes.
That's
because
I was your discovery.
Yeah, because also I was living in a remote place.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a small village, so of course you could find the magazine, but the TV was the center of attraction.
Alors, I never think about it, and I, of course, didn't realize back in the days, but I grew up outside Paris, but every Saturday we would come and have a little périple, walk around the Rue Étienne Marcel and the Rue du Jour. So, and I remember going every Saturday to Comme des Garçons. It was a little outdoor just to look when it was on Rue Étienne Marcel. And my mother's sister used to work at Agnès B, and there was all these shops of Agnès B, and it was Marité Francis Gerbeau, all these kind of shops where I went, and I was lucky to travel quite early to go to New York, to go to London, where I think we would walk on, Fifth Avenue, or this, where it was all these shops. So I would say it was through shop.
Yeah, it's funny because Sarah discovered through store, and she done a store, and I discover through media, and I work in media.
And
so
you are managing.
But also, when I arrived in Paris, it's true that Étienne Marcel was super cool, and there was this place where there is this French sculpture, where there was like Comme des Garçons Femmes and Comme des Garçons Hommes. men's.
Okay.
And Yoji was there, and it's still there.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the only
Right.
one. No?
Yeah.
But it was it was a really cool place.
And then you discover fashion and you dream about it. And how do you get into it? What is your fashion first moment that you witness on yourself?
No, I done a school of fashion, so I entered through a very normal way. Like I done a school, internship, so I done a journey into fashion that is quite classical. Like there was no big entrance. It was like slowly, and
Then you built it.
yeah.
And you? First fashion job or first?
First job was internship in galleries, but very early I did the internship with Purple magazine. Before it was Purple Fashion, so it was always art and fashion. Always.
I see. So coming to the time when you entered in fashion, and today we are in 2025 and going through all the career that you have done and all the people that you've seen, what is the main difference that you see of that fashion and today? In terms of people, mood, design, everything.
I know that people really want us to tell that digital and like change everything, which is true. Now your phone is like your excroissance of your hand, like your live with your phone. So it's true that you are so informed. We know everything. We have access to the information. But for me, I always say that I have the feeling that I'm the same person, I'm doing the same thing, I'm just doing it with different tools. So I think and I was having this conversation yesterday with Tamu, that was next to me at a dinner, and we were talking about digital, like person, like what we call influencer, and I remember when they arrived and she told me, oh, you were one of the only that support us. And I said, yeah, but for me it was not a problem of like being digital or not being digital, because for me it was people who love fashion. And I love people who love fashion, that they are able to change 3 times in a day. It's the same, but now they post themselves, they post their look, so we are much more aware. But there is this kind of people, they were always existing. They are, so for me, everything is a bit the same, but there is tools that make it more strong, more viral, more broad. Maybe here people film what we do, and maybe someone in Asia or in America will see it. You know, so it's the same, but with a huge audience.
Yeah. The scale is different.
Yeah.
On the speed, don't you think
Yes.
there is an acceleration, the rhythm, the fast, the speed, because there is more and more, always a kind of saturation, which I don't know if it was that
because we are
strong.
so informed.
Yes.
And also
But for the brands to always...
the brand keep doing content, event with content. So there is like it's true that there is the landscape is very, very busy. And also for brand to exist now, it's kind of it's a bit tricky, because you have more chance to exist because you have more tool, but also this tool are used by everyone.
Yeah.
So it's there is a democracy of the social media, but also like a total saturation.
I see. So you both, for me, besides the relationship that I have with you, one of the reasons why I joined you together is that you are the best on your fields. What you do, you are the best in this, and you basically are working with most of the important fashion brands all over the world now. It's not Paris anymore. And you are someone who is working with the brands and connections with the people who you would not imagine, or doing something that is extraordinary. Is this something to be the best in your field? Something that just happened, or was that goal? Or how did that happen?
I will never say that I'm the best in my
Well, no,
field.
we are the
I
ones
like
who
what I'm
we are the
doing.
ones who look at you and we think you are the best. And I wonder if you feel that, and if this was something that you wanted to make this way, or it just happened like that.
No, I never take distance. I'm working non-stop. I never really think of me, but think of what I'm doing and how to make it the most interesting possible, how to make it relevant for the people, brand, artists I will connect. So no, it's just about doing instead of just dreaming or making sense. And that's the only goal, to make something interesting in this busy world.
But Sarah is very humble also. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like for me, she's one of the genius. I know she hates I say that.
Yeah.
But for me, Sarah and her mom are genius in fashion. I think when we will look at those years, we will remember
Of
Karl
course.
Lagerfeld, Anna Wintour, Sarah, Colette. I think for me, they are
Absolutely.
they are at this level of people who change fashion. And nobody took the place of Colette. And you succeed to move on to do something new, but also very successful. But that's why we love Sarah also, because of her humility.
Yeah. What about you?
Me,
Talk about you.
me, I'm maybe.
Do you feel that you are the best, one of the best in your job in the industry today?
As Sarah said, it's complicated. You cannot say yourself you are the best, you know, because when you are the best, what you do after.
Right.
And also fashion is very challenging. Like one day you are the best, but maybe the other day someone challenge you or someone new arrive and you look like dépassé or old school. Or that's the why fashion is interesting, but also very, very exhausting, is that you have to be relevant all the time.
Do you think a lot about that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because when I arrived in fashion, there was a lot of PR. You know, there was small agency that were really good. They had the best designer of Paris, but they were never international. They were never thinking globally. So I noticed that. So when I arrived in the market, I always wanted to be international, because I didn't want to be. I'm super French, but I wanted to be international because I saw that those boutique agencies that were super good, they participate to change fashion, but after they declined because they were not international. So one of my first goal was to be international, because I knew that that if I was only Parisian and I couldn't be so exquisite, so Parisian, but I would be stuck there. So I challenge myself all the time. So I don't know if I'm the best, but I'm working hard to stay relevant.
I see. About you, Sarah, so I feel like what Lucien said, that there is no debate, that there was no competition of Colette, and there will never be, because no one can replicate or try to do this. In terms of other after Colette life, when you look at around, do you care about the competition? Do you look, or do you feel the competition from others?
From what I'm doing now with just an idea as a consultant? Not really, and I don't think anybody should think that way. I think. Do you? Can we ask you the question?
The same question? No, I mean, when you see that people are trying sometimes to replicate you or do something that you did it not first, but like before someone, then you are, maybe there is a moment when you are thinking about it, but then I realize that if I'm really confident on what I'm doing, that keeps me going. And for me, you are the two people who trusted me from the beginning. I remember when I came to Paris, you had just an idea pop-up, and you asked me to give my cap and to put it on a sale immediately on the pop-up store. But I still have this cap for me, and I'm not selling that cap. It's the only one that I sell. And then Lucien was the one that he always remembers this, that he was the first one to put me in the front row or any row of the fashion show, and he's still my supporter. And what he knows is that he always knows where to put me, because there are places where he knows that I should not be there, or maybe I will not feel comfortable there. So it feels like I'm kind of everywhere, but it's not actually like this, but the thing is that when I am somewhere, I present and talk about that so much, about that place, that it feels like I over talk, and I talk a lot about the same situation. But so coming from this, I wonder how you understand and get the sense of the person coming from the young generation, or someone new, that this is someone that you can trust or work with in your case, because we work together and you trusted me to put in the brand shows where they trust you to bring the right people for them.
In a way, it's for like the same for everything I'm doing. And I think it's instinct.
Yeah.
I think we see your work, and from the moment I started to follow you, I realized how it was smart, clever, and I know how it looks simple, but I know the most simple things are the most difficult things to do. And I immediately fall in love, and all the people I love, again, like from a designer, an artist, I want to be close to them, I want to connect with them, and I want to collaborate with them. So I think from the moment I understood what you were doing with Style.com, I wanted to collaborate with you in a way or another. And it's funny that I asked for retail instead of asking, could you speak about my pop-up on the... So that's a big difference between...
Is it the same about every other person who is just coming from the instincts?
Yes, we see a lot. I used to run showrooms and trade shows, and I would meet lots of designers. And the more you see the little difference where you see that the designer works with his real heart, is sincere, and is not looking someone else when you were asking about and is original, is a true diamond talent. So I forgot the question. But in your case, I could see it. That was.
What about you? I'm asking not about me. I'm asking about like when you let new person in your world. How do you let them in?
No, but you are an interesting case study for me, so I can talk about you because it's not because you are here. It just first I was intrigued because you post about me, and you post how is Lucien Pages Fashion Week, and I was like, what? And you, with the social media, you never know if it's cynical, if it's. Then I dig a bit and I saw that you were really positive, and that's what attracted me because we were in a moment of Diet Prada, like the Diet Prada were really high and really making everyone scared in my field, you know. All my clients, their big fear was to be on Diet Prada, you know. And you arrive, and it's true, there was articles said you were the anti-Diet Prada. And you arrive, and everything was positive, so I said, oh la la, and I was like intrigued, and even more intrigued because you were positive. So I said, this is a new way of doing things because I know that the social media love, hate, it's more juicy to say horrible things, and you started, and you were the contrary. So this really attracted my attention. But I didn't know you. Then Clara introduces, and what I love is that you were a fan, and I see myself in you there. You were, because I started as a fan, and I came to Paris because I was a fan, and you came from Georgia because you were a fan. And you were a fan of Colette, you were a fan of ZARA, fan of me maybe, fan of Loic. And I saw myself in you, so this is the instinct as well. It's like, I feel comfortable. And I remember that moment where I put you on the front row, and it's Loic Préjean that came and told me, oh, you put Beka on the front row. This is so brave, because he knew that it would make the real journalist pissed. And I said, why not? And the other thing where I'm really proud with you, and that was like because I like to connect dots, is when I introduced you to Tim Blanks and Nicole Phelps, the icon of style .com.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that, and I done it separately.
Yes.
But I wanted to be the one that do that.
Yeah, and with Nicole Phelps and all the style.com people, you are the one who made this.
Because I was thinking it was so funny. Because I mean, it's the beauty of life, you know. It's the beauty of fashion. Fashion for me is what I say is totally closed and totally open. You enter into it.
Yeah.
I enter into it. Sarah enter into it. Loic enter into it. Like, and that's the message. But it's so close. It's so close because nobody can buy a ticket to go to a fashion show. It's the only place where you cannot buy the tickets. You have to be invited. You have to be on the guest list. But we can arrive on the guest list.
Yes, because the idea of this, one of the idea of the talks was that I can also imagine someone, I mean, if there was someone else sitting, I would be definitely in the audience because that would be probably the closest I could get in touch with you. And today when I'm seeing myself that I'm part of this, it still feels surreal. So to appreciate this moment, it's always important for me. I remember once we went to one of the trips together, and I posted something and people got a bit mad, and it was the first time when I got a criticism, and I don't want to say hate, but it was a very different like opinions for the first time, because my page is about positivity and usually the comments are also positive. It's the community of the people who also love fashion like me, like us, and for the first time, and I asked to Lucien about that advice, and he told me that time that this is normal and it always happens for the first time, and at the time will go, it can become less, I can become less, I would say, emotional and nervous about that. How much do you care about people's comments and opinion about your work?
I have to say that I only have a good opinion, to be honest.
Okay.
No, because I'm not judging. I'm posting things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like a vocal person. I'm not like saying anything that. I mean, sometimes I have bad opinion. Like, I don't know, but it's so little, you know, because I don't expose myself to criticism.
But when they have something to say about your work or about something that
my
did
work
not work,
can be critiqued by my client, but not by the audience. They don't, you know, they don't know if my work is well done.
Yeah, right.
You know, the external world don't know. But if I do a shitty show, like where you arrive and you don't find your seat, or there is a security problem like we done once, it was not my fault. You remember? No, the very dangerous situation, like at the theater. Anyway, it was not my fault, but people start to post my name saying this is a shit show, Lucien Pages Communication. This is, and of course it affects me, but because it was not my fault. There was a problem of security or production, but my name is on the door, so I accept that. But of course it can hurt, but I have to say that I'm very spoiled with that. Yeah. Even like on TikTok, I receive so many positive comments. Like it's very rare that I have bad comments, but because I don't go into delicate territory, you know.
I see. Do you remember, Sarah, any like the real criticism or like the opinion that you were affected by during the college years or after? About any specific project?
I try to respect people and expect the same in reverse. And if there was, I remember thinking it was really someone who don't understand at all what we are doing, or really look at those face, so it wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Now you start to get criticism.
About me, my work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the people are, I mean, more your audience you have. Now I have almost 500,000 audience, so you cannot make everyone happy. Yeah. And people get, so main criticism about me is usually because of the fact that, oh, you are so positive and you like everything. Yeah. But when there are very few people who actually then go to my page and see like they take out, because I've had the meetings at some the offices of the CEOs, and they had like, oh, we said that, oh, you said this and this and that about, but it was always, it's usual, the friendly meetings just to get to know them. And then when you go really deep into that, it's very simple to understand that sometimes I just do not talk about the things. And some people really understood that if I don't talk about something, maybe I did not like that thing, except something, if I am not at the show, I decided not to talk about the show, because not being there, it really changes perspective, and just a flat image or seeing it from someone's screen, it's not something, and it does not make me excited. And I wonder if you sometimes get bored of fashion, and how you bring the excitement back.
I'm never bored of fashion. I'm bored about the industry sometimes, because it can be painful. It can be, we have to, you know, we work so hard. My team works so hard. Like barely the last months we didn't like have a weekend or
sleep
so,
normal.
Yeah,
normal
so
sleep,
sometimes I can react to things because I'm tired, just naturally, and the same for my team. And but I never get bored of fashion, because fashion is in its DNA is not boring, because it has to change all the time. So how you can be bored of fashion, because it's changing. So it's you can be bored of some designer, you can be bored of like the format of a show or whatever, but not fashion.
And you?
Same, like we were saying at the beginning, you never know what kind of surprise it will drive you on. Nowadays that I don't have to do fashion shows like when I was a buyer where I had to see the collection, I don't ask any invitation. Sometimes I'm invited, sometimes I'm waiting, and I'm like, what I am doing here? I should be working on my next project. And suddenly the show starts, and suddenly it makes you travel. It's like visiting a great exhibition or traveling, and these moments are really special. Like you said, you feel really lucky to be in this room. It's not the same watching from live Instagram or watching after. So it's this kind of special moments that, it's like watching a great movies, but being with all the actors, and the music, and the makeup. I really think a great show is when everything is aligned, and that's one of the reasons I don't get bored, but also just in general to discover a new designer, which happens every season, someone who just invents something new. And when we have seen so much of clothes, to make you look at clothing in a new way is so powerful from these designers. Or to read about fashion, thanks to you, in a new way too.
Do you ever think that you could work in any other industry in than fashion, and where?
I don't feel like I'm working on fashion. It's with Colette, I always say we wanted to have a restaurant, we wanted to have a beauty, and with just an idea now, it's from books and lots of different projects. I love products. I would say it's about more making, connecting the dots, making products, and fashion is one of the great part of what I'm doing now.
Would you do any other career?
I keep thinking about it, but I didn't find the solution. Really.
Okay.
Like, I love so many things, but I don't know if I will be good at it. You know, and for me, it's really important that if I go into a field, I want to be good at it. So, I would like to work in cinema, maybe, or like, because I think
as director?
No, writing stories.
Okay.
I love to tell stories.
Okay.
But it's very blurry, you know. Like, because if I have the white page and I have to write a script, I don't know if we will be will be good.
But would you do a fashion film, or?
Maybe I start with fashion because I know it very well. I think also the fashion at cinema is so bad. Like and in series and it's always ridiculous, but even not the right ridiculous, because we could be even more ridiculous than what they show. Because sometimes
it's a cliche, but very bad cliche.
It's the wrong. Like I know we are ridiculous, for the external world, but they don't touch the right part because we are much more emotional, much more sensible, much more. It's more delicate. The relationship in fashion are much more complex than what we see, but they can be also very extreme, and we live sometimes moments, and we ask ourselves, "I'm really living that?"
Yeah, I see. Do you have any fashion dreams or collaboration dreams that you want to make it happen?
Well, I think Lucien should do a series for sure when I hear him, because
I
that's a game and it will be.
An answer from him.
But the relationship between fashion and series is really something I wanted to do a book. I even spoke to Tim about that. I had a list of all the designers being inspired. I remember from Twin.
You took some
I'm not doing it because it's so much work. It's a big, but I have. It's one project I would like to do. Really.
I started this season. Jonathan, that is working with me, that you know very well, is my right arm, and I need to do, if I do a book or something, I need to do it with him because he remembers very well things. And I send him voice note with anecdote because I want we start to put them somewhere, because I'm so scared because there is so many things this week, so many funny things happen. Yeah, I will forget.
Yeah, I have the notes. It's an endless note just to have a file to share what people said during the fashion shows or what I've overheard that could become a huge book. I know that Loïc does it sometimes, and he's the reference for me in many cases. So this is the only thing that I can say that I copied from him directly, but he approved it because the things I heard today this morning with my friends at Duran show from Brian Boy, for example, he's the source. I can make a book just about his quotes.
Yeah, I was there when he said what he said.
He said a lot of things.
Yeah, but I pass.
No. He said we went to the other room and that he said a lot. And David, my friend who just arrived, he was with us, so he also remembers. We talked about some stuff, but some like adult content. So this is I mean, after all this career that you have, are you still excited about fashion? Are you excited about your future in fashion or arts or food or any part of the culture that you are involved in?
Yes. Getting older, you start to question a lot about what you are doing and if it's relevant for the public, but also for you, because you want to be careful about how you spend your time. But yes, I'm still even if we live in a world which is quite scary, I think it's a moment to actually work hard on projects which bring some light, some joy, some fun, surprise, to try to compensate, balance with the dark times.
Dark times, That's Mel talked about a lot, because for him, he told that he's not excited. So I asked all of the different questions, they all had a different answer, and it's a very 50-50 balanced answer. And you?
Yeah, of course I'm excited. Like, I want to see what future will bring. I want to participate to it. I want, also when you're getting older, like I'm turning 50 this year.
Yes.
So I have experience, I have knowledge. I still want to be relevant, as I said. So I think I want to use all what I learned during all these years to do even better, to do transmission with people, I think, if possible, like I want to use that time to really like enjoy what I learned. You know what I mean? Like I want to because I fight to be there. It was sometimes complicated. It was sometimes surprising and amazing, but I want really like to enjoy my knowledge and to use it, because I think it's a treasure to have experience.
Yeah. The next question is also very specifically about you as someone who works for the media. One of the reasons why I created this fashion talk was that, as you know, that these days the main fashion news is just to talk about who is the new designer, who is exiting, just a speculation about this. Do you feel that this especially this year and last year was especially hysterical about this compared to any other time, because the scale of the news is so much bigger, and if someone just overheard something exiting the show, it can become a fashion news and picked up by everyone. Does not matter who started this, it's just becoming, and everyone is doing like a tree, who is going where, like all these the mathematical solutions, and the real talk about the things why we love fashion, not necessarily about fashion. For example, today, even at the Duran show, we were just almost screaming. We were so excited, and I wanted to talk about that as a show, as a fashion show, not just necessarily about the clothes, but this is gone from many people, and even the questions that I get the most, and the most response and the engagement, if we care about that from the audience, is just when you share this fashion news, and if you are the first one who saying like, oh, you remember I was the one who said this like 6 months ago. I mean, we can say any speculation today, and one of them will become definitely true. Do you feel that it's really hysterical these times right now, and it has eaten the real fashion talk?
I think, for me, I don't know if I think the same, I never lived that before.
You see,
like that level of musical chair, that level of changes in big house, I never lived that. It's totally hysterical, and also it's a lot of pollution, mediatic pollution, because everything is about gossip, and now people think gossip are true.
Yes.
So even when, so it's very difficult to navigate for us when we have to take decision, when we have to announce a new designer, but everybody knows already. So it's like we have to challenge ourselves now to make that still exciting, because, for example, when Mathieu Blasi was announced at Chanel, everybody quite know he would be at Chanel, and that was a bit sad, because it should have been like boom.
Yeah, totally.
And he was like, okay, he's going to Chanel. And I think it's a bit sad, because it was a major news.
Yes.
He's the new designer since Karl Lagerfeld, and he's a big, and this pollution of gossip, I think is making the news less exciting.
Absolutely.
And that's that makes me sad. But I think we are all, and I see a lot of brands, of big group, now we are rethinking how we will manage. Because gossip won't disappear, because it goes through social media, through certain media, so it will be there. But maybe we will, because it's impossible to keep a secret. When you go to a house, you have to bring your lawyer, the lawyer of the house, your assistant book your meeting. Like it, even if you want to tight the communication, it's at least 30% that should know. So 30% is making 30 plus 1.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you, but you don't tell it.
Yeah, and then
so it's becoming 60. So it's becoming.
And for example, I remember since we are going after this the Balenciaga show, I remember that when Demna was announced at Balenciaga, it was a kind of a shocking. It was a boom. I remember it was last day of Paris Fashion Week. I was not in this big fashion. I was just there for my other job. And remember, it was something that was like still remember like, oh, I still love fashion. Or when Eddie was announced first at Celine, that was shocking. I mean, for me, I had no rumors about that because I was not part of this. Now I know most of the appointments that happened, I knew, but it was my choice not to talk about the speculations. That's why some people say until they see on my page, they don't believe into that. But it was a choice because, for example, there are some announcements that happened or coming because I have friends with them, or they are friends with friends, and when they move the cities, they sometimes say like, they are a bit drunk and say like, oh, I had a job in this group's brand, and there is only one choice when you realize about this brand. So I think this is a major year in fashion, and we have so many debuts this season, and even bigger debuts are coming next season.
Yeah, I think in September, everybody will be like that.
Crazy, totally crazy. We have at least 3 or 4 major, the biggest fashion brand debuts coming. Some that we know and some that we're gonna know very soon. And coming from all of this, my last question to everyone is that should we take fashion seriously or not?
Yeah, of course, because fashion is a huge industry. Besides the fact that we love fashion for the art, for the creativity, fashion is serious. People are making a lot of money with fashion.
Yeah.
Like the richest man in France
That's
the 4 richest men in France are from luxury or fashion.
And sometimes the one is also becoming the richest man in the world.
Yes.
Depending the
So
market, how it's
how
going.
you cannot take, it's not that I'm obsessed with money, but just how you cannot take seriously such a big industry.
That's exactly what I say to my friends when they tell me like how big is fashion. I say that the richest man in France and in the world has money from fashion. What do you think?
But the industry itself, you said it, is important for the number of people they employ and so on. But fashion itself, I really don't think it should be taken seriously. And listening to you, this gossip, this, you are in a bubble, we are in a bubble. And I think when you say everybody knew about Mathieu Blasi going to Chanel, if you go step back, I think it was a surprise for lots of people because he was not in the top rumor in the magazine. So we have to be careful of this because we are really working non-stop.
But I'm surprised by how the audience knows, because there is people who are fan of fashion. They follow, they read the Blue Square, they read Miss Tweed, they read Lauren Sherman. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, we are super well informed, and some people really dedicate their time to
I mean, fashion has become
and I see when we do like TikTok or like comment on Instagram, people really comment those things. Like,
but well, it depends what we're talking about, because fashion, like a show, seeing your excitement for Durand today, I don't think it was too serious. If all the collection were like commercial or anything, it was so boring. So that's why I think it's important to have lots of fun in the collection and in surprise.
I see. Thank you very much.